then we'll see that.
That really struck me last class. Flexible and okay, everything is okay. No, why even at this age I have to do that? Just everything.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste. Oh.
Namaste, Raghuramji.
Sorry, కొద్దిగా లేట్ అయిందా.
నమస్కారం సార్.
నమస్కార శాస్త్రిಗಳೇ. Mukund is also there. Wonderful. And who is?
Yes, sir. Namaste.
Namaste. Right. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The main difference between the other cultures and Sanathana Dharma is that there is a life progresses, there is a purpose of life which also goes along with that. Life is useful till the last minute. It's not the question of that life is not useful after a certain time. Now you have worked enough, now you retire. It's not that way. I might have retired from the work outside. That's the reason why I said that there's no retirement at all. Because basically now what happens is slowly that you turn from outward to inward. And slowly you move inward. With the knowledge, with the preparation, with eligibility, you turn inwards. In fact, the whole of yoga is also like that. Asana, pranayama, slowly, dharana, then we come to the pratyahara. Pratyahara is coming back into ourselves. That's what is the idea. And it's not with the question of that world is horrible, world is bad, people are not listening to me. It is not like that. The question is, world is a wonderful place, but behind this world, there is such an extraordinary, wonderful treasure that is there. When do we explore this treasure? That's the reason pratyahara is important. It's a very important step in the field of yoga that you turn back to see that how you can turn inwards. Inwards, go back to the self. That's why after pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi takes place. And in order to go towards that, you have to prepare yourself. That's why he says in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, dharana suyogyatam manaha. That means mind will be prepared now for the dharana. That means dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So that means to say inward journey for preparation. It's like graduation from asana, pranayama, pratyahara. Then you go towards dharana, dhyana, samadhi. There is a great wonder there. In order to explore that wonder, that's why when you come to dharana, dhyana, samadhi, then the whole of Vibhuti Yoga is there. It's an extraordinary thing. But then you cross the Vibhuti Yoga, then becomes the Kaivalya Pada. Vibhuti Pada, then Kaivalya Pada. So now look at this, and this is it is the way of life. In the Sanatana Dharma, yoga is the way of life. So naturally, it should be something which is there from right from the childhood, then as we grow like that. That means before that, whatever that was so important, now slowly that you have outgrown. In the case of child, we were important. And the moment we come to Grasta, all those things are left behind. Now there are certain other things which are important. Slowly leave that behind, and then now you turn inwards. And that's what last time also mentioned, that he says that karma will leave us, but we go on to the jnana. That's what is the next step. So that means to say every activity has two components. One is the activity component, external component. Other is the philosophy component behind it. So now you consciously turn towards the philosophy component. Only you can turn towards that if you give up the activity portion of it. So slowly with the activity portion of it, give it to the others. Youngsters, they take it. Because activity portion, now they have grown up. For them, there is a whole lot of world in front of us, in front of them, and this world belongs to them. And because this world is progressing in that direction, and along with that, they are born, so it is belonging to them. In fact, you can see the statement that is done by the elderly people. When they were young, the world was beautiful for them. Now, when they have grown old, now their world is not beautiful for them. That's why they keep saying that. During our times, rice bag used to be 5 rupees a rice bag. Today, what is the rate? But they don't say during their time there were no roads, there were no water supply. Everything that you have to go to the river and bring the water.
Salary was also 10 rupees.
That they don't talk about it. That suffering they don't talk. Because at that time they were not seeing as suffering. That's why it looks very beautiful, nice, and all that. So it is not because that the world is anyway progressing. Just whatever that today that we do it, we were later on we will say about that something extraordinary, but then later generation will say, my God, what kind of phone he was using, what kind of laptop he was using. It was so useless, so primitive, doesn't even have this, doesn't it? We don't even know that. Forget about this, today's cell phone, we can't know we don't even know 5% of its function. And then, the youngster will laugh at us and say that, you don't know this, that. I tell you that my phone was not receiving phone for the last 15 days. I was requesting everybody, and then all the youngsters say that, what, it's not receiving, correct it, it will be all right. Nobody was helping me. They said that you are old fellow. So what is there? This was the way it is. So the science has progressed, everything has progressed. So that's how basically what happens is that we should be able to, so this world is progressing, the world belongs to them. Now your experiences there, all those things, you give them. But basically it is not that it is you see, the knowledge that is there is very important thing is, the knowledge becomes wisdom only if it does not become ego. When the knowledge becomes ego, then it becomes arrogance. It's no more a wisdom. So you want to use your wisdom, you be wise, because your knowledge is there, your experience is there by. And when once you have in the wisdom, then wisdom can happen when a knowledge does not become your ego. And dambho darpopimanasya krodha parushyam these are the things which are supposed to be evil forces. That's what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. And dambha darpa of the knowledge. So in fact, he says that in Bhagavad Gita, these are the only things which are the problem for you. So as we grow to become the Vanaprastha stage, at the Vanaprastha level, that we use the knowledge where it is necessary. Otherwise, we don't have ego of the knowledge, dambha. Dambha is that what I know. Darpa is, look, you don't know it, I know it. See, these are the things that are there. Abhimana. That means somebody will upset me, somebody will disturb me, and they don't even listen to me, they don't even ask me, they don't even care for me. All these things are the things which are fixing you. So therefore, once this is what is the growth that we need to take it. If you do, that means to say basically outside you are not dependent on. Outside is there, but you are turning more inwards, you are dependent on more inside. So therefore, this inside journey that we need to make, we have to come out of it. That's why I said that outside has so many details, so many development and all those things that are there. And inside is where basically that you are, and you can overcome that only with the help of love, compassion. These are the forces. These are the Daivi Sampat. 13th chapter of Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that these are supposed to be Daivi Sampat. And Daiva is somebody which is there inside. That means divinity is inside. And that means to say you turn inward from the world outside, you turn inwards. So this will help you to turn inwards. Daivi Sampat, Krodha, all these things, Krodha, Parusha, all these things, you leave it up. And then you see that, Karuna, etc., etc. Those are the things you turn around. And that's what we are born with. Look at a child. Child has no intellect, but child has compassion. The child has love. The child has. So we are turning towards that. That's why last time I said it's like a full circle coming round. We get back to that child. Become like a child. You don't have any ego of knowledge or anything that, leave it behind. So this turning inwards is the first journey that we need to make, and that's what this culture has given us. And they also explained this idea saying that this life in this world is the karma bhumi. Anything that you do it here in this world, once you leave this world, there is no way that you can do it, because whatever that you want to do in this body, the senses, all these things are necessary. But it is not there, then you can't do anything. So therefore, this is supposed to be karma bhumi, or this janma is basically for karma kshalana. We need to take out all this karma attachment that is there. If you don't do that, then you will come back with that same thing, because there is no other way. Simple thing is that you sleep, we go to sleep with a thought. The scientist said that you get up with the same thought. From the sleep to getting up, in between, you are blank. There is nothing, no activity of yours, because you are not there.
Idea suddenly strikes us.
Sorry?
Some idea suddenly.
Ideas not come in the sleep, actually. When you touch the silence and then hold on to that, sometimes that some clarifications will come.
Yeah.
Because the peaceful state of mind. Whereas otherwise, that the thought that is there will come up in the morning with the same thought. Because in between, it's like a blank state. So we are going to die is also as a blank state. So that's why whatever the investment we have done here, whatever that we have done here, residue, that becomes investment in the next life. So if I don't have anything as an as a residue this life, I'm free. That's why mukti moksha is that, where I don't have any more vasanas, any more samskaras, anything. So preparing that is what is basically the vanaprasthashrama will give us. So the graduation of vanaprasthashrama is supposed to be sannyasashrama. So that is why, that means to say, what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita also, whatever dies is not what we are. Well, somebody, because see that we have gone through the childhood days, young adult, adolescent, etc., all these things are going upon us. That means I'm consistent behind it. I'm constant behind it. When do I identify with that? How long do I identify with the outside? So start identifying, change the identification of me. This is what is called as Gestalt philosophy. Gestalt philosophy is that where you see, Jung also says that idea. It says whatever that mind you have, and that you see the pictures in the cloud outside. See, the Gestalt philosophy, that they say there's a picture that is there, and you see from one angle it looks like one young girl, and you look from the other angle, it's an old woman. Both these things are there. On one side, actually, we have a statue in Salarjung Museum where from one side you see that it's a girl, the statue. On the other side, you see is a man. But only one thing is that when you see the girl, you don't see the man. When you see the man, you don't see the girl. So it's up to you that whether you would still continue to be the young, little, all kind of thing, or you would like to be wise, grown up. So this is what basically the way in Gestalt philosophy, that you can change your perception. And that perception change is in our hands. There are people who get caught up with that and then they still continue with that. Now they are outdated now. They don't belong to anymore that society or this society. We are outdated. So therefore this Grasthashrama says that leave it to them, so that now your perception is more towards either with the body or with the divinity. And when we are associated with the body and mind, this complex, that's when we have all these problems. That's when we say that suffering, everything will be there. Body level suffering will, body is there which suffers in any case. But then we are with that suffering. Great people are great because that the body, they come out of that body suffering, they identify with this while living in this life. That's why it is called as, when the suffering is at the body level, identify with that, you are son of Mary. But when you free yourself from that, okay, it's all right, body suffers. I'm not that. I'm free from this, Son of God. That transformation occurs, it's like the Gestalt way, that it has to happen within us. And there's wonderful ample time in Vanaprastha Ashrama to make over, turn over this.
What did you say? Gestalt way.
Gestalt.
Gestalt.
Gestalt, Gestault, Gestalt philosophy.
What is that?
Gestalt psychology. Gestalt psychology is where basically that you have a framework, you have a intention, and you see that intention in that.
ಕಾಮಾಲೆ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಜಗವೆಲ್ಲ
Huh?
ಕಾಮಾಲೆ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಜಗವೆಲ್ಲ
Yeah,
ಅಳದೆ.
yeah, the whole world that
Already
looks
have something in their mind. Then you
right.
see like that only.
You see that.
So it's a colored vision. You look at the world as a colored
Like the
vision.
world as a color, yeah, you can say the colored vision, but your own perception,
Your own
that is
perception.
there. You don't want to leave that perception. That's
Right.
another thing. So we need to get out of that. So to free from the mind level to see that you are not identified with that, that's something which has to happen. So therefore, basically that like in this thing also, karma, we come out of it and then we hold on to the jnana. That means the philosophy behind that. We try to hold on to that and then we just continue with that. But then what happens is that even the jnana also becomes your ego. And that's why and this whole jnana intellect is nothing but about the world outside. It's not yet about the Brahman, which is your own nature. So even this also that you need to give up. See, that means to say the karma is supposed to be the gross and the jnana is subtle. So when you give up gross, that's when you become vanaprastha. But when you give up subtle, that's what is sannyasa. Then you come to the causal level. Causal is Brahman. You become one with the Brahman. Then it doesn't matter to you. So, because at the jnana level, there is still pairs of opposite. Because this is right, this is wrong. See, that's one of the reasons which bothers us for us. The person is doing something wrong. There's nothing like wrong. That's a way to learn.
But do you think that that is going wrong?
When it is
It's my thinking.
It's my thinking. What happens is that, did you not learn like that? How many times we fell down before we are able to bicycle? So these things are there and happen. Obviously, when somebody is not seeing that, you can show that. Obvious thing that is there, somebody's, then you find it. Or something like that. That's why it is said that if this life is something, yes, continuation from the previous generations, historical generation, then we don't make the mistake. In fact, that's always very important point is that our science has not come from whatever the development that has taken place from the ancient times. You see, we knew about idea of that, the spherical point of universe and this and that, earth is going around the sun. We knew it 10,000 years ago. And our knowledge did not continue from that knowledge. If we had only Sanathana Dharma guiding our knowledge, we would have had all those things. Unfortunately, what happened? That was cut off. And then we brought the Western knowledge where earth is flat, this is flat. That's what happened to us. And that they thought that that's important. We knew about so much of herbal knowledge and all those things, and so much of development that was there about the medicine that was there. And if you look at Charaka and Samhita, these were the things which were there. But look at the way that we cut it off and said the Western medicine, we brought it. And today, what happened is that whatever that was there in our culture that was missing, now they're trying to introduce that. Everywhere it is like that. Because there is a continuation of this continuum of this particular thing would have been continued. Probably that we would have progressed much better. Not only we, the world would have progressed much better. But then we stopped it and then we picked up anything. Now, a very simple idea, I always think of that straight line doesn't exist. It's always a segment of circle. You put a straight line here and then draw it, it becomes around the earth, it's a circle. Anywhere it is like that. Circle is the essential figure. Straight line is not. Straight line is a limited one. Like for example, on this table, I would like to measure it's a straight line. But now what happened is that we had a mathematics where we converted everything into the circle. That is what the Indian way philosophy started. That's why I said about this idea of zero that we are giving, it is part of the circle itself. Everything was in that language. Now we converted everything into the straight line using a equivalent called as circle. Straight line is pi, 22 by 7, pi value. And 22 by 7 is an indeterminate number. It doesn't have any definite number. That means approximation. As a result of it, we are introducing error into that. So a lot of problems because of that. I was just always thinking that my knowledge is very limited, but I say if we could convert the whole knowledge today into the circular mathematical equation, probably a lot of problems can be solved in this world. The same way that we knew about, you see, the whole idea is yoga. Yoga means bringing together. We looked at everything in a combination. Ayurveda, combination of various things put together, and then we found out that these are the things which are useful. And then our people used to make like that. And even our cooking is also like that. In fact, something like this that you don't put everything together and cook. We always used to have that. First put these things and make this thing. Afterwards you add something. Like that we always used to have different kind of approach towards that. But the Western science is not like that. The whole thing is put everything together, put it in the oven and everything take out, you do it. So this combination kind of a thing was not there in the Western world at all. And we followed that. And there was a lot of such details that were there, minute details in the understanding about the world outside. Like a very simple thing is people ask how they arrived at beetle leaf along with beetle nut. Actually, when you see the beetle nut tree, around that the creeper is beetle leaf. And it is there, nuts are safe.
Oh, I thought menace.
And menace is also another thing. So these are the things which will really keep that together. So these are, see, that's how we people have worked. They come together. In fact, one place I went to one of the villages places, and then he said, "Let me go and get some herb, some leaf," and then he made some branch. I said that he will make the branch paste out of it and then apply so the bones will join. I said, how do they know that a particular tree is there and whose branch that you make a paste out of it? This is a very simple thing. You go to that tree and see the branches, usually in the tree, branches crisscross, and there they join actually fuse. Nowhere else in the trees, the branches fuse, but there's a special tree. And then, so that if you put it, your bones also fuse. Right? See, these are the knowledge, this is the kind of knowledge we always associated with the nature. We never separated ourselves from the nature. So therefore, these people are people who have really gone into the deep. That's the reason why all the saints that we have produced in their knowledge are all supposed to be the yogis and rishis. That means without any personal agenda, without any this thing, they have involved in these things. So this is how the knowledge developed. We could have continued that knowledge, probably it would have been a different thing. Similarly, I always keep saying this. Even till today, metallurgy does not know how to keep two metals together without uh, affecting each other. Like for example, they become brittle. You put two metals together, they become brittle because expansion coefficients are different. Whereas we produce five different metals together, Panchaloha. How did we do that? That means there is somebody who has gone into that depth of understanding these things. It's meditating on that, going deep into the philosophy behind it. So these people, this knowledge, if we had continued, probably we would have been much better and the world outside. But anyway, let's not regret about that. We have done that and now So therefore, what happens is that we had a knowledge which is there. Let's go back to that kind of thinking about that, so that the knowledge portion is something which is basically not an ego, but it is a wisdom. So this is how we develop the whole thing. So brahmacharya ashrama, grasta to vanaprastha is now slowly that knowledge becomes like it is a contemplation rather than ego. When the knowledge becomes wisdom, then the most important thing is that we become we become aware of the source from which all these things come. That's why Kaivalya Pada is the next one. If we have the ego of knowledge, then we are outside because the knowledge produces these things that. But whereas if you go to the wisdom of the knowledge, then you go to the source of knowledge. That's what is Kaivalya Pada. So Vibhuti Pada is a wonderful practice, wonderful thing. But all that Vibhuti that happens, don't go to the object outside, but then you go inside. This is what Mandukya Upanishad says, that Drishya Darshana Sambandhe Yanubhuti Ranamayaha. That means to say an object, and then you interact with that object, you have an Anamayaha Anubhuti. That means extraordinary Anubhuti that you have. After that, if you go on to Drishya, that means object outside, Drishya Sambalita Bandha, then you are going into the world outside. Whereas if you go on to the Anamayaha Anubhuti, Tam Avashtabhyatishtatvam Saushuptim Bhajate Stitim, then that will take you to the Brahmasthiti. We have object, and if you go towards the object, whatever it produces, then you go into the variety and this and that into the world outside. Whereas the knowledge, when you go to the hold on to the experience of silence behind it, etc., then you go towards Brahman. So Vanaprastha is a place where until that time we are going to the world outside, because even that world going to the outside is also something that you make the world better. And younger people and generations are doing that. We are not against that. It's a wonderful thing that's happening. But I would like to go to the backside of it, background of it. Tam avashtabhyatishtatvam sushuptim. Sushupti. That's what I get. I get a Brahmasthiti. Bhajate sthiti. I will still. So therefore, basically, now the world is there. I'm nothing against the world, but I turn inwards to see that what's there behind the world. So that you go to the Brahmasthiti, Atmasthiti. This is what Grihastha Ashrama leading to Vanaprastha, but Vanaprastha graduating into Sannyasa Ashrama. Sannyasa is basically Samyagnasaha. That means to say, you are from the same source as Brahman. You are the Brahman. And from there the child comes. You see, when the child comes, the child is the fresh development from the Brahman, manifestation Brahman. He is just Brahman. So is there a way that I can become like that, so that I become identified with that? Then I leave. So before that, I should become that. Body is there, world is outside. This is what Shankaracharya says. At the old age, are you still worried about the world outside? That's what is Dukrum Karane in the grammar. Grammar is the most refined portion of the language. And language is the expression of everything. And that he is looking into the grammar at the age of 85 years, and then that fellow is sitting, and then with that lamp is looking into the grammar. Says, what is this? I added all these things to see that you turn towards Bhajagovindam. Bhajagovindam Mudamate, Samprapte Sanhite Kale, Ehina Rakshati Dukrum Karane, it's all outside. And he says very clearly, Balastavat Krida Vakta, Tarunistavat Taruni Rakta, Vruddhastavat Chintamagna, Kopanam, he said, when are you going to go back to the self? You are caught up in these things. And we know that we chant all these things, but then we get caught up in that. And that's what I was giving this as an example. Because not only habit, but what happened is we never even tried to see that there is something beyond that. Why it happens like this is, we have seen the material world, joy of material world, but we feel that the joy of material world we are missing. They're not missing. You have outgrown that. You see, imagine that. It's like that. Somebody is broken leg and he's walking with the crutches. And then the doctor will say that, after about 3 months, that your legs will be strong enough and then you can walk. Then he says that after I can walk, can I still use the crutches? Why do you want to use the crutches? You can come out of it. So in the childhood days that we used so many things that were there to see that we are engaged in that. But now we have outgrown. You don't have to use it. But I still would like to have it. It's foolishness. Going back to that. Now you are at a stage where you find the satisfaction within yourself. And that's what essentially that we need to really get into. This is what he says. Indriyas are the outside one. Outside world is the Indriya. Bhagavad Gita gives that sutra, which also Kathopanishad gives that. Indriyani paranyahu. Indriyabhya param manaha. Ahu parani. That means to say, objective world outside, much better than that is the sensory organ, because sensory organ is involved in that. That's why you could see, you could hear, and all this. How long are you going to be with the object outside? Can you turn toward the sensory organ? Because this is what is subtler than that. So turn toward that. And there is a boss for the sensory organ. That's what is mind. You cannot stop the sensory organ by being at the sensory organ level. You have to come to a higher level to see that the sensory organs are controlled. But often what happens is that we are at the sensory organ level itself to control that. We don't come out of it. Like for example, that I have habit of, gluttony, going behind the food. I said, okay, give up this food so that you stop this food. You are actually starving yourself for that. So like that, just starving will not bring you out. In fact, what happens is when you starve, your appetite for that is increases much more. I've seen a lot of people who go just because they have weight, so they go to the um, diet centers and then there they put you through very hard diet pattern so that you don't they say all those things. Come out of it, whatever that 15 days that they lost, in 10 days they will gain. Now this time it's even difficult to give up also. It's very difficult because that you have not controlled it from the subtler level. It does not belong to the senses. If the problem is only at the senses, animals are at the senses. They have powerful senses, much more powerful senses than we have. Our senses are very weak that way compared to the animals. But look at the animals. Animals have a self-control at the senses. They don't go beyond that. You don't find an obese animal in the forest. Animals have such strong senses and they hunt and they run and behind an animal and kill that. After killing that, the animal eats as much as the hunger permits. So that's a leave. Other animals will take care of it. It doesn't say that. But we are not like that. We go behind the senses. Senses say more, more, more that we give it. So therefore, basically it says that, and then we try to control that at that senses level. Let me not give, let me deprive the senses. Sleep is a problem. So let me not sleep. People, jagarana, that's what they do. And this, you are trying to control at that same level. If you try to control at the same level, it comes with a higher force behind it. Unless until you go to a higher level to control it. That means you have to convince yourself at the mind level to control the body. As the mind has to control the sense. That means object is there in front of it, but your mind will say that don't go for that. You should not, you should control yourself from going from that. That's what is the real idea. That means you outgrow that. You go to a higher level. So this way that Indriyadi Paranyahu, Indriyabhya Param Manaha. So mind is the boss of Indriyas. It's only in the case of human being it is like that. Require. Mind is something which is such a horrible thing in human being. Even if it is not there, mind will be there on that. That's what we say, that thought. Somewhere something happened. You see, Indriyas are only in the present. Whatever that is there, eyes can see what is there in present. Ears can only hear what is there in the mind. Similarly, smell comes what is there in front of it. But the moment you stop it, then the senses do not go beyond that. Whereas mind is something which dwells on that much more than that. Mind is much more powerful. So therefore, can you control from the mind level? But we don't want to control from the mind level, but we try to control at the body level. How many people, how many ways that they did this control at the body level? All these all these things that they had, is also controlling at the body level. In spite of the fact that you do all these things, because that it does not come from supported by the mind, then it really did not improve you. Yes, continuing to have all these things that are there. Waiting, see, Ekadashi is supposed to be you do the fasting, waiting for Dwadashi to happen. That means how to abuse yourself. You have not really, it's not for exercising that control, but you see that only it becomes a nominal. Mauna, it's also like that. Particularly people go for the Vipassana practice. 7 days you don't talk to each other. Okay? So talking is stopped. 8th day, 10 days practice, 7 days you don't talk. 8th day you can talk. Pray, you see people ready to talk, waiting for talking. All that will be there. So whatever the 7 days that you did not talk, you 8th day, you finish with all the interest also. Where is the question of controlling it? So this is how any control that is done at the center of control, then it is not improved. You have to rise above that level. That's why he says, Indriyani paranyakuhu, Indriyebhya param manaha. Mind is something which is basically, we need to really control at the mind level. That's what Swami Vivekananda said, that there was a Marwadi was traveling with Swamiji and he said, oh, God provides you food. What about your food? So he sat down, opened his food. Swamiji is hungry. And then that fellow is eating the fresh food in front of him. And then taunting at Swamiji, now who will get you food? Swamiji describes that not even my salivary glands are activated because at the mind level, I'm peaceful. Let the mind control these things, higher level. Manasastu para buddhi. Now this manas has to be controlled by the buddhi, intellect. Intellect is the one which is basically the one which has to support the mind, which has to guide the mind. Convince about that, because that's what is human being. It's a complex personality. Animals do not have that, whereas we have it. Manasastu para buddhi, yo buddhe parasastu saha. That means somebody is there who is beyond that buddhi itself is that. And what is that? Sa kashta sa paragati. That's what is the Mandukya Upanishad said. That's what is the peaceful state. See that the peace is beyond all these things. Mind also says that this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. Okay, should have been doing like this and all that. Mind says. Can you rise above that mind level saying that, yeah, peace is much more important than all these things, right and wrong, good and bad. See, until the intellect level, pairs of opposite, good, bad, right, wrong, okay, not okay, this can do it much better. All these things are there. But the moment you come to the level of beyond that, where the duality is completely compressed into one, that's what is Brahmasthiti, Atmasthiti. Go beyond the level of duality. In fact, everything in this world is made out of duality. Right? And in fact, without duality, that the world is not created. Hunger and the food. That is how the duality is created. Hunger is negative, and then food is positive. Put them together. That's what is basically the way that the world is created. At every level. I want to see something. Hunger at the eyes level, hunger is at the ears level, and then produce the food for that. So therefore, this is what basically the way that the world is created. And the moment that immediately the duality is created, then all the laws, rules and regulations, the grammar, everything comes into the picture. Rise above that level. And then that's what is Bhaja Govinda. Shankara's idea is that. Then you're peaceful. You just accept the creation as it is. Then, when this pairs of opposite do not become absolute, then it becomes Leela.
Becomes a
Leela. Actually, Leela comes from lightness. There is no question of it. It's like a play of the. They say that it's a play of the. Like, for example, Rama is uh, the person who is playing the role of Rama in the Ram Leela. He's also crying louder. He's also saying all those things. But you know that once the stage come out, he's free from that. You are not touched by that. And that's what is Brahman. Whatever that happens, whatever that you do it doesn't touch yourself. It's all outside yourself. In fact, that is how beautifully Shastra says is that you do not have any problem, but you as a husband, you have a problem. So husband has a problem, not you. You do not have a problem. Wife has a problem. Yeah, wife has a problem. In fact, it is said that husband and wife birth, the individuals, man and a woman, birthdays are different, but husband and wife's birthday is the same. So the problem starts from that. So, so, so therefore, basically, he has a problem, she has a problem, wife has a problem, husband has a problem, mother has a problem, not you. Mother has a problem. You are holding the role of a mother, that's all. Why do you think that the problem should touch you? But when do we have this experience? We say, it's easy to say, but then when do we have the experience? We become emotionally caught up in that. You should separate the emotion. As I said, that emotion comes much beyond, much before that, even the intellect comes. It doesn't belong to intellect. It's there much before. But then we get caught up with the emotions. In fact, I like that example that Swami Chinmanda used to give about these emotions. Long time ago, then he was giving the talks in Bangalore on Gita Yajna. I happened to go to the Gita Yajna, and then when he's a master storyteller. I was listening to his stories, particularly those days. Jayanagar is a freshly developed colony in Bangalore, very nice, sprawling, front yard, and this in backside there is a house. And most of the people either working in HL, HMT, etc., etc., and all that Bangalore, and they go to the work and then come back. There's a very peaceful life those days. And then there were two houses next to each other, and both of them working in some government department, like for example, JLR, HMT, and all that, retired. So after retirement, they stay in the house, and then children are now, actually, that's all the another thing. You are retired, that your job will go to your son. So both of them, their sons are working. Now you are retired, nothing else to do it. So therefore, you are at home. And even if you are retired, one thing is that the habit of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning will not go. So they get up 5 o'clock in the morning and make their cup of coffee. And Bangalore offers such a wonderful coffee. Nowhere else in the world you find that. So quickly fix the coffee and then come outside with the coffee cup. And outside then there is a stone bench. Sit down there, sipping the coffee, talking to each other, and waiting for the newspaper to come. Hindu newspaper. It is such a thick newspaper, whole day you can hear, you can read. And then you can forget again, reread, and all those things that is there. And both of them get Hindu. And the moment you open the Hindu paper and it says, oh my God, again train accident. And that's where he puts his head into this newspaper. He has the same, but then and going on, enjoying. And this is routine. One day is train accident, another day something else. But this is going on. They come outside and stay on the bench so that people at home will not have disturbances by them, because they also get up and then go to the work and prepare the children and all that. That's going on. They are peaceful. These people are peaceful anyway. Meanwhile, suddenly, telegram fellow comes. In those days, it was telegram. All these computers. So telegram fellow comes, cycle he is, and then this is telegram. Both of them for who? And he reads Subramaniam. Both of them are Subramanian. Because Subramanian is such a common name in Bangalore. Now it is his headache to find out which is the house number. House number is also confusing because in Telegram it is not very clear. 166, 167 is missing. So I don't know. So which is the initials? And then immediately that fellow says Yemen Subramaniam. And immediately Yemen Subramaniam says, oh, Telegram is for me. And Telegram means always bad news. This other Subramaniam immediately opened the Telegram, reads for him. Aunt in Coimbatore died. Oh my God. And that fellow is so disturbed that he can't even read the news, the telegram, because eyes are filled. Oh, my aunt, when I was in school, she used to prepare my cheddi, this, that, and all those things, and all those things. And he's crying, and this fellow is saying, no, no, take it easy, because your aunt lived fully, because you are yourself 80 years. Aunt must have been about 90, 100 years. So lived full life, and then she passed out peacefully and all those things. The more this fellow consoles, the more that fellow is crying. And going on and on and on. And meanwhile, the telegraph fellow will go back to Jayanagar 4th block, where the telegraph office is there. Comes back on the cycle in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Says, I have looked into my record. It is not MN Subramaniam, it is NM Subramaniam. The moment NM Subramaniam, that fellow drags that telegram. Oh, my uncle, my aunt, and my aunt was like this, my aunt was like this. And now this fellow is saying, take it easy, one day or the other, everybody has to go. So, emotions, we have absolutely no control.
Suddenly, you are all right. You are all right. How the shift of emotions.
Shift of emotions.
Said the role of a mother, sorry, role of a friend, role of a nephew,
Yeah.
suddenly to role of a friend.
Right. Oh, take it easy. Don't worry about it. One day or the other, we all. This is what is Vedanta. One day or the other, we have to go, and that Vedanta is for somebody else, not for me. So,
Yeah.
what has to happen is that when can we become when we can see the life beyond the death? When you can see the life beyond the death, then you don't get caught up in these things. That's what is the role of Vanaprasthashram. Vanaprasthashram should give that strength to the people to see that beyond the level of material world, emotions, and then see that you go beyond that. That love, compassion, all these things come from the divinity. And if you are able to do that, then one day or the other we have to go, all of us we have to go. It's not for the sake of others, it's for you. Can we say that? That's what Ramana Maharshi, when he was having an abscess, and then abscess they found out it is to be cancer. And they said, see, it is cancer, then it doesn't have any cure. So all right, leave it so long, let it also be there. He tells the doctors. One could say that. It is basically because you are experiencing beyond that level. And we know that body has this property. 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years you live. But one day or the other it has to go. Shriyate iti shariraha. That's why the description of sharira itself, body itself is that something it will go away, shriyate. One day it has to go to the fire. That's why dahati iti dehaha. That which is to be burnt is deha. And not only that, when the burning on the last day of rites, even know that you are burning your body. Every moment that your body is dying, how much of body is dying, go in the form. Your skin is peeling off, and then every time bath, so many cells that are dying in the body will go away in the bath. And in every activity that you are doing, that so many things that you are throwing away, part of the body, it's continuously dying. When do we recognize that? Is when we accept that death is something which belongs to this body. What does not die is yourself. Our own experience. Can we feel that? Can we deep inside? Then what happens is all these things that are there will appear to be outside of you. You are not caught up in that. Ramakrishna Paramahansa was dying. Sharda Devi cried. said, "Oh, I will become Vidva." Ramakrishna said, "Who said that you'll become Vidva? I never die. This body dies. I've used this body enough. All these people are there and then die. But I continue to live. You will never become Vidva. You're Sadhva. You're always there." Imagine those days, almost like 150, 200 years ago, a woman said that, "Look, I'm not good. They are supposed to break the bangle, do this." He said, "No, I don't want to do all those things because Ramakrishna told you it's always alive and he's with me." You see, when can it happen is when throughout the life, Ramakrishna lived for her as somebody who is not in the body. That was the first lesson, first today's experience is that, do you want me to be like your any normal husband and wife? Or would you like to be sadhaka, spiritual? She said, "Yes, you be sadhaka." So he was never like a physical body. That's why she could sustain that. So this is the journey that we need to make. And this is what is the life journey. Everybody's life journey is that. So at the time when we leave this body, we are very clear about this, that the body is something which anyway one day or the other it has to go. But I am somebody, I'm holding this body, I'm living in this body. Now I leave this body. That's a simple thing. I can say goodbye to this body. That's what Ramakrishna Brahma said. At the age of 55 years he did it. Whereas the same thing, 50 years I think. And then there was another great saint, Ram Tirtha. Ram Tirtha did it when he was 34 years old. He was a great saint. 34 years he went to Ganga to take bath. And then crocodile caught him. And they said to the disciples, "Arey, crocodile caught him. I'm trying to release it and come out of it." But then after another 2 minutes, he said, "Crocodile seemed to be strong, taking me away." "Okay, bye, goodbye," he said, and went away. Not one word of feeling that, okay, I'm dying. There is nothing like that. This body, crocodile wants taking away. Bye, goodbye, he said. That is the courage that we should have it. This is what Raghuvamsha said. A person, when you live this life like this, that means you graduate from the Grasta to Vanaprastha. Vanaprastha will teach you this particular position to see that. That's a wonderful time to see that this body undergoing all these changes. Because you see that BP goes, this goes, and then your appetite goes. See that how many things are changing. Why are we holding on to this? You come out of it so that you are not free from these things. It's a wonderful way. Whatever that is supposed to be dying, and you don't identify with that die, whatever that doesn't die, doesn't have death. And that is when Krishna said to Bhagavad Gita in Arjuna, saying that, "Arey, you are somebody who is not touched by wind, fire, all those things. Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shoshamevacha nityam sarvagataha sthadho achaloyam sanatana." You are Sanatana. You are like Brahman, one with the Brahman. Because basically you don't have anything else to do it and they're taken care of by the others. So this way, freeing yourself is one, um, uh, whatever that is mrityu, from that we come to amrutatva. Amrutatva is here, mrityu is here. That is what I said, this gestalt. Whatever that's going to die, I can identify with that. But at the same time, behind this, there is that. Whatever that doesn't die is also there. I identify with that. Amrutatva. I can turn this side, I can turn this side. It's up to me. And that opportunity is given in this particular life. That's what is preparation towards sannyasatva. So sannyasatva is where you already died. That means to say that whatever that is supposed to be death, it goes away. Now I am somebody who is free from the death. Amritattva. That's why it is called as Amritastakam. And you can identify with that because, as I always say, that these emotions are bhavana belongs to the divinity. And at that level, all that what you manifest is love, compassion, and appreciation, seeing the whole world as God's creation. All these things, when it comes to you, then you're identified with the divinity. That's why bhakti sadhana is not about the God. It's not about anything, but practicing this love, compassion. These are the soft emotions. And the soft emotions Something which is against soft emotions is our ego, ahankara. Come out of ahankara. That's what is the idea. We need to do it. Ego. Surrender the ego is the way. That's the reason why the sannyasa. And then when you surrender the ego, you are living just purely life. That's all. Sat. And whatever that your mind has no anything else, chit. And then you are blissful ananda. That's the idea. It's not the question of rejecting the whatever that previous life. So therefore, sannyasa is not going away from everybody and leaving into the nothing like that. You can be here with everybody in the family, you're there, but you are like a sannyasi. That's why we have such examples of Janaka was having the kingdom, everything is there. He married his daughters, all that is there, but he was Brahmajnani. He was free from that. So that's why we say that you can be, it is said that when all the desires drop off, nothing else is there about the world outside. No vasanas, no stuff. Then you die, that is what is moksha. But when you die before the vasanas die, that's what is mrityu. Then the vasanas bring you back to the life. That's what is the idea of Amritashram that we have. Of all the yogas, that's why the last, after telling all the yogas, after telling everything, Krishna gives Bhakti Yoga, the last chapter. Bhakti Yoga is the culmination of the whole thing. So that's what is the idea. One become Brahman, one's become that. That's what is Samyak Nyasaha. That means to say, identify, I'm the Brahman. Sat, that's what is I am. Chit, I am that. Ananda, that I am. That's what is the idea. But then, how I misunderstood this one is sannyasatva means give up everything and go somewhere. There was one person who was there with me when I was in school, college. And then used to come and be with us and all that. I was thinking that, and he always used to say, spiritual, very spiritual. And then later on, I heard that he came to sannyasa. He took the sannyasa. I went to some ashram. I happened to go to that ashram, not knowing that he was there. I went there for some satsang that we were there. Suddenly I remembered this, the ashram that Swamiji had come, that person had come. And then he became a Swamiji here. Oh, right. Then after a few days, couple of days, then I was looking at the people. One person looked like him because after about almost like 15 years I'm seeing. And I went to him and asked, so are you the same person who is there? He became so angry with me that don't remind me about my Purvashrama. I gave up all those things. My God, you did not give up. You, by hatred, you are still holding on to it. So such a person, there is adveshta, sarvabhutanam, maitri, karunayevacha, nirmamo, nirahankar, samadukha sukshami. That's what is the state that one teaches. This is what is identify yourself with the prajna, sthita prajna. That's what is the state. And that's what is the goal of life for everybody in this life. And you might agree, you might reach in this life, might not reach in the next life, it doesn't matter. But at least this is defined. We are so fortunate about that. So next week we will talk about summation of all these things together and see that how Shastras have repeatedly given us this message again and again.
Last class.
Last class, Sanathana Dharma. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shanti is there only when you reach that Brahmasthiti. Other than that, it's only a small little piece of. Okay, so now you have any questions or anything like that? You can unmute.
Anyone wants to unmute, you can.
Yeah, Namaste, Raghuramji.
Namaste.
Sir, I have one doubt regarding this Maunam.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what you were saying regarding Maunam, like external Maunam, like is kind of controlling. So, is it so that, I mean, what we should do is like with using our intellect, matlab, with vichara and inquiry, we should calm the mind rather than that physical practice of Maunam?
At one level, But
Yeah, but it helps, right? Keeping Maunam not only, I mean, physically, matlab, for the speech, it kind of calms down the mind also, right? I mean, if we don't overdo it.
but you need to go beyond that.
Yeah, that is true. But initially, yeah.
The only way that you can achieve Maunam is when you come out of the pairs of opposite. Dvaita, you have to come out of it. Until Dvaita is there, Mauna is not real Mauna. Still you say that, yeah, this is good, it should have been this way. It is not this way. I would have put it this
But
way.
I don't want to speak now. Is that also Dvaita? But you want to share your opinion, but you
Yeah.
are in Mauna, you are
Yes,
waiting for the Mauna.
you're waiting for yeah. You are not expressing because you think that you are.
So how exactly do I do that? I'm talking about practical sadhana aspect, like inquiry or.
You make minimum of things where you have the pairs of opposite. Minimum of things.
Okay.
It is very absolute. There are no pairs of opposite. One way is okay, second way, other way is also okay. I have no preferences. That's why your preferences, your choices completely drop off. That's why I always used to say that in Jnana Yoga, choice seemed to be freedom. That's what is the Western concept. Freedom from the choices is the real freedom, moksha. I have no choices.
So actually being okay with either of them, of the
That,
dvandvas.
yeah, that is what in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says. I should have said that. Yadrucha labha santushta. Whatever you get, you are santushta, satisfied with that. Dvandva atitaha. It's a very beautiful state. Yadrucha labha santushta. Dvandva atitaha. Vimatsaraha. Actually, vimatsara is such a strong word there. So, samas siddhava siddhaucha. Krutvapi nanibiddhate. That is the moment where krutvapi nanibadhyate. Karma does not hold on to you. Dvandvatita, vimatsara, siddhi asiddhyo. It good result or bad result or success or failure. Samatvam. That's what is the state. Siddha nanibadhya. Krutvapi nanibadhyate. Karma does not. After that, Krishna gives a very strong statement about that. Somebody who is that way, Krutvapi nanibadhyate, where the karma is not following them, he says, such a person, Hatvapi Saiman Lokan Nahanti Nanibadhyate. Let him kill the whole world, but he is not the killer, not is caught by the killing. Hatvapi Saiman Lokan Nahanti. He is not the killer. Nanibadhyate. Karma does not hold on to him. Right? That's what is state.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I have one more doubt if time permits. Otherwise, I'll ask in the next class.
Can I ask now?
Yeah, yeah. So this is regarding you were, I mean, talk something about past life, like means in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, if you kind of establish yourself in aparigraha, you get the memory of the past lives and all. That's the result given, right? But nowadays we see a lot of people talking about this past life regression and all those things. Is it true? Like, I mean, does it happen that way? Like, just out of curiosity, I'm asking.
This life itself is headache for us.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would like to have past life, past one life. There is a third past life. My God. What a life.
Actually, people are using it for like kind of so suppose
Special
they have
purpose.
some major health issue or some psychological issues and all. So they're
Actually, it is not that regression which is helping them. Their faith is something which is healing them. I always believe faith is the one which heals.
okay. Because at Brian Weiss, Dr. Brian Weiss was there, no, in that I think Miami General Hospital somewhere, like in US. He developed this regression therapy and all that.
Yeah, I've
So,
not on that.
okay. Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Because maybe this side the person is asking for answers, they get convinced that oh last time I did like this,
Yeah.
so that is why I'm now into this.
So
So some
that's
kind of
it.
that.
Yeah, yeah. They say that the
It-
root cause of present suffering is somewhere in like, either in the childhood or somewhere in the past life. So that's how they do the regression. So,
What is the solution?
the solution. So anyway, it is gone. So therefore, you be free from that. Ultimately, that's what. Don't worry about it now.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Mukund, nice to see you. Really.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll close the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, Shastrigale and Ram Kumar.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhaji.
Thank you.